So this is lesson 101 of KSP. I'm going to show you a couple of shorthand or short trick things that you can do. So just getting used to where things are is obviously just going to take time, but there's really useful things to be able to kind of work out, like, if I'm looking for the biggest of something or the best of something, technically speaking, like the most expensive is probably going to be the best, often in the case. Or if you're looking for small or big things, there's these little like filters at the top. So starting off with kind of a general rocket, that's what I'm going to kind of go for. So I would encourage you to work backwards. So we're going to say, okay, we're going to the moon and back. So our capsule, we need to be able to land back on Earth or curb. So we need to make sure that we have the ability to slow down and that we have the ability to go through the atmosphere as well, right? So as you can see now, I'm struggling to find the right thing. So that's what we're going to come into Earth, and then we're wanting to then decouple from whatever's going to be powering us, right? So then that's all we need to get back onto the Earth. Finally, we then wanted to make sure that we have something to be able to land on the moon, and something to be able to have enough thrust to come back home. So we want to go for light and small things. So that's pretty much going to give us enough of what we need. Let's get some landing legs, because that's what is really important. So I just use a quick shortcut. So Z and X. So you can see how when I push X, it increases how many I'm putting down, which is really useful. And if you hold down, I believe it's Shift, it goes backwards. So I can put down, I think it's like, I don't even know how many that is. Or I can go backwards with it. So I hold X, makes more. I can then hold on Shift X and it goes backwards with the number, which is really, really useful. Another shortcut you have is, and I mean, you probably saw me do this, which I'll kind of explain more later, but this tells us our ISP, which is how effective the engine is, and our TWR, which is our thrust to weight ratio, which is also really important. So this is pretty much enough to land on the moon and get home. So I'm quite happy with that. How do I know that? Pretty much from experience, but this engine is very effective in space. And it's pretty much all we need to be able to get to where we need to be going. So another shortcut is that if you hold down Alt, it just copies whatever you previously had. Just a really useful shortcut. So if I just wanted to copy that, so I don't actually want that, I just want that. See? So I can then just, and then if you want to undo, just go Control Z, Control Z, Control Z to go as far back as you want. Great. So I want to have two of these, so there you can see engine. You're going to then get one of those again. So you see how knowing shortcuts can be really useful. Then I'm going to get a separator construction. I'm sure it's in, there it is. I'm going to go for a quad stack, as you can see. That gives us quite a lot. I could even chuck a engine. Try and find the right one. That can be bigger than that. See, so it takes a bit of time to find the right thing, but I know it definitely exists. No, that's too big. So let's go size. Smallest to biggest. Let's see what we can find. It's better. There's fuel in there, so I'll take it. Cool. Then I want to grab some appropriate sized rockets to fill on there. Here we go. And so like I said, you can just hit Alt, click, and you can then join them, right? Always a good idea to throw a strut into there. As you can see, it connects all four. Drag it higher, we just drag higher, and then just go ahead. So now choosing engines is really important. So these are the two common engines you're going to see on this kind of rocket. The major differences is that one is more powerful. So you see this one is more powerful. So thrust at sea level is 200, and that is 160. But this engine has got a gimbal, where this engine does not have the gimbal, right? So you need a gimbal Otherwise, your ship will flip, which you've probably seen 100 times. Okay, so that is right, but do we have enough? So you're going to come down here to the bottom right, and you're going to work out what is our meters per second and what is our thrust to weight. So you see our thrust to weight is 1.31, which is actually not high enough. We need about a thrust of 1.5, and we need about 1,500 meters per second to get into orbit, but it's high enough to get into orbit, right? So we have more than enough meters per second, but we don't have enough thrust to weight. So what we can do, and what I'll probably do, is I'm going to get rid of these here. I'm going to just put in something a little bit smaller. There we go. So what is happening now? So our thrust to weight ratio is now 1.8, and our meters per second dropped a little bit, but it's above 1,500. So I know that this rocket will actually get me to orbit. But what I'm going to do is make it even one step more powerful. I want more delta V, right? So I'm going to check on some connectors, and I am going to get some more engines. Right, so I can get a more powerful engine. Like we said, we don't need to have the one with a gimbal, because these aren't going to be gimbling for us, and I'm going to get a fuel duct, right? So fuel ducts are really important. What it does is that the tank you click on first is going to be sucked dry from the tank you click on second. So you see there's an arrow, so fuel will flow, so this engine will use fuel from this tank first. Right? So what that means is that once we're up in the air and we're flying, and then this tank will finish first, and then we'll drop them, and then this tank will be full, right? So let's see what's happening here. We need to make sure that our staging is correct. Now we have a massive thrust to weight ratio. Okay, so it's too high. So what do we do when the thrust to weight ratio is too high? We add more fuel. That is the way to fix this. Right, so you can see how our thrust to weight ratio is still quite high. What should we do? Just add more fuel. Alright, I mean, that's fine. It's a lot. But let's go for it. So another couple of tools that are really useful tricks is that you have this moving tool. So if you just grab a rocket like this, you can just move it down. There's obviously a limit to how far you can move it. And then this I'm also going to move down. Great. I'm probably going to also grab one of these, click, and just connect. These tools are a rotate tool, so if you want to rotate something, you can rotate things however you want them to rotate, although we don't need to do that right now. And then finally, there is also to be able to make actions, but we don't really have any specific actions that we want. Let's add a couple of more things. So let's add some RCS. So I'm going to make 2. Lower down, so we should always be thinking like center of gravity and where's gravity and like weight. We're going to drop that a bit lower, and we're going to put on some RCS thrusters. We just want 4 of them. Gives us some control. And then I think we should add a solar panel or 2. So electricity, let's add, I like adding 2 solar panels like that, and then 2 like that. How many of these do I have? Make sure that this is actually low enough. Like we said. There we go. That's what I want. So when it comes to the action group, what you do is you just click on the object you want to control. You click on what button you want it to do. So action, I want number 1 to toggle solar panels. Cool. Okay, so we have a lot of delta V. So like I said, the other thing I forgot to mention here is that another couple of really useful tools or buttons, right? Let's just grab something that we can control. That's a bit long. So let's say you want to put something on this, but you want to control where it's going or what it's doing. So I skipped that. You can just hold down your right mouse button and you can kind of turn. And if you scroll, you move up and down. And then if you hold shift, it also moves in and out. So all these different controls. But with this, how do we control what this does or where this points? So all we do is we can push ASDW. So if we push A, you see how it rotates like this. A rotates like that. Left and right. And then we have up and down. So you go up and down, so you rotate like this. And then you can also rotate, not that you can really see it, but you can push Q and E to then rotate in the other direction. But then you might want to make any small adjustments, and so all you have to do is have control, or sorry, shift, and then it only makes small little movements. So if you want to only make small movements, this is very useful when you're like making jets, or you want to make specific things. It gives you full range of how to move things, and that's about it. So that is the controls on the vehicle assembly done. So let's try and get to space.